As a student, how can you lead other people? Hey there, Trinity Youth. Tyler here, one of your student ministries pastors, and thank you for watching this sermon. I appreciate it. There's not many of you, so for those of you that are watching this, I really do appreciate it. It's tough. It's hard being plugged into Christianity, into the church during this time. And so if you're making that effort, good job, guys. It is difficult, and we're learning how to cultivate our faith in Jesus Christ virtually, which we're not used to. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's sermon. And again, addressing the question, how as a student can you lead other people? I'm going to be reading from the book of 1 Timothy, and I want to give you guys a little background story. So in the book of 1 Timothy, Timothy is a young guy, much older than all of us, probably in his 30s, 30s, somewhere around there. But compared to the rest of the people in the church that he was trying to lead, he was the youngest by far. And what made it crazy though was that he was now the person that was in charge of everything. He was the top dog. And so it's a little disheartening, it's a little scary to be younger and trying to lead older people, let alone lead a whole entire church. And so Paul wrote this whole letter to 1 Timothy, trying to encourage him and telling him what he has to do in order to properly lead this church. And as soon as I start reading the verses, there'll be some of you that might recognize this verse, because as a student, it's so easy to look at this verse because it just says, be confident in being a young person. Don't let people look down upon you. But if we really read into it, it's actually saying don't just let people look down upon you, because you are trying to be an example to other people. I'm going to be reading from 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses 11 through 16, and then I'll give you guys 5 things on how you can lead other people, whether they're older or younger or the same age. Starting in verse 11. Teach these things and insist that everyone learn them. Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. Until I get there, focus on reading the scriptures to the church, encouraging the believers and teaching them. Do not neglect the spiritual gift you received through the prophecy spoken over you when the elders of the church laid their hands on you. Give your complete attention to these matters. Throw yourself into your tasks so that everyone will see your progress. Keep a close watch on how you live and on your teaching. Stay true to what is right for the sake of your own salvation and the salvation of those who hear you. So, if you're a student watching this that is part of Trinity Youth or just part of a church, there is a responsibility for you as a student, as a potential leader, or just as an example that if you set the standard, others will follow. Sometimes that we can think because we're younger, we maybe can't influence those that are older than us, but we really can do that if we live the way that we're supposed to live, because older people, younger people, or people that are the same age, they will see something is different in you. There will be a certain level of respect that they have for you. So, even though you're young, even though you're a student, how can you lead other people? Specifically coming from, verse 12 says, be an example to all who believe in what you say and the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. Those are the 5 ways that we can lead other people. So firstly, it says in what you say, so basically in your speech. So as a student, how can you lead other people? How are you speaking? What are you saying? Do you have a potty mouth, if you want to put it that way? Do you have a mouth that doesn't build up people? Or are you quiet? Do you keep to yourself? How do you use your speech? How do you use your tongue? Scripture talks about how the tongue can be dangerous. It can both build people up and tear people down. Well, if you want to lead people, we need to be building people up, and the way that we do that is through how we speak to people. So how do you lead other people? Firstly, it is your speech. It is what you say. Secondly, it is your conduct. Conduct is your action. It's how you treat other people. It's how you respond to other people that you may disagree with, or whatever else happens. If you want to lead other people, regardless of their age, older, younger, the same age, the way that you operate in your conduct, the way that you respond to them, will heavily dictate how well you are able to lead them, how well you are able to influence them. It's just the simple example of if you had a job and you had a boss that was super mean to you, you probably would not want to work for them. You probably wouldn't respect them. But let's say this boss treated you super well. They were always pouring compliments on you. They were treating you well. They were giving you the hours that you needed. Their conduct towards you would be good, and therefore they would be leading you because you would feel confident in who they are. You would like how they're treating you, and so you would be okay with them leading you. And it's the same way. If we want people to be okay with us leading them, then we have to treat them in a certain way. So how do you lead people? By your speech, by your conduct. Thirdly is your love. For Trinity Youth, our mission statement is love Jesus, love people. If we don't love people, they're not going to want to be led by us. Now, in case you are a student, we are coming after a generation where the leadership style was do this, very authoritative, very controlling, very over the top. That's just how it worked. But with our generation, we're seeing something new where we are seeing that it's not the boss is over top of everyone, but they are with everyone. They are on the same level. They want to be friends. They want to work together. And so they do that by loving on them. How do you lead other people? By what you say, how you act, and how you love. Fourthly, it's your faith. Obviously, as Christians, one of the best ways that we can lead people, especially other people that believe in Jesus, is our faith in Jesus Christ. Are you growing in your faith? Are you spending time in Scripture? Are you spending time in prayer? If you're not doing those things, you're going to have a very hard time leading other people, specifically in the church or people that believe in Jesus. So how do you lead other people? By what you say, what you do, how you love, how you believe, and fifthly, purity. See, at the end of the day, if you are a leader or just a person that isn't living correct, people are not going to see you as a healthy example. Sure, you might love people, you might treat people right, you might have a lot of faith in Jesus Christ, but if you're not walking purely, people aren't going to be attracted to that. They're going to see all these other good factors, but they're going to be tainted by the fact that you're doing some things that you shouldn't be doing. You know, Scripture kind of makes it clear that when you live pure and holy, it gives off a different persona, it gives off a different image to other people. If we want to lead others, there's 5 things that we need to do according to the book of 1 Timothy. How we speak to people, how we treat other people, how we love other people, our faith in God, and also if we live purely. Thank you for watching this sermon. Leave a comment below of different things that you think on how we can lead other people. If you are a student, please like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do so that way you can stay connected with the rest of our content. And you guys have a good rest of your night.